Welcome to Ask Earl Anything. This is the show where your questions make the show. Without your questions, we don't have a show. This is the second Ask Earl Anything for March 2025. So we're into the first quarter of the year is coming to an end. We're in the springtime now. And I've been working my master plan to back off on doing less drum covers. The way that happens, to be honest, is when I don't have drum covers to put out. Now, I do have a backlog of alt takes, and I've been putting one out a week. But I really don't want to put more than one alt take out a week, but to be honest. But my other drum covers, the ones that are my regular drum covers, I've kind of got myself down pretty low right now. And that has to do with the fact that the last month or so, I've been doing less drum covers on a weekend. And last weekend, I did really one drum cover for the whole weekend. And that's because I had some time with family and friends. And that's the key, is to live life. So let's talk about drum covers, and we'll start there. And I've got a few questions that came in this month. So I'm answering these questions in this month. My next show will be based on having more questions. But let's talk about drum covers and the drumming community. Now, let me say this. My drum community is a very steady group of people. My subscriber base is a very steady group of people too. People see my videos all the time and people subscribe all the time. Subscribers give you clout in YouTube world. But in actuality, when I look at the stats, the one thing that's very apparent to me today is that drum covers are not that important anymore. I don't know what gets views for these drum channels anymore. I think some of the guys that have their, like there's this one guy who's a teacher, who's got a lot of drums and stuff. He does long lesson videos and talks about his equipment. I could talk about my equipment to a point, but I only have 3 drum kits, which is plenty for what I do. You know what I'm saying? But I watch this guy's stuff pop all the time. He's got a pretty good following for a while now. But I'm not competing with him. I'm not competing with anybody. That's the interesting thing. The drum cover world, when I started this 8 years ago, was a community. It was a family. And I think that family is kind of disjointed right now. And it's not because of anything other than the kids that were running the community grew up. The guys that got older got tired of doing it. The guys like me found it as a home and a place to kind of work out my pain from grief and stuff that I've dealt with. I've talked about many times, won't go into today here. There's always new drummers coming in and out. There's lots of drummers, young drummers, that are just monster drummer and players. And they were not the guys in the drum community, by the way. They were the guys that were out there doing it anyhow. A lot more pro drummers on YouTube. A lot more of the same. I get a lot of the same feeds I always got from the same people that were always there, that have sometimes hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions of subscribers, but they've been around since the beginning. So if I was looking at a pure number thing, this is kind of a waste of time to think about, even though I've got more than most in my little genre of community people. But the truth of the matter is, I can't look at those numbers. I can't look at my 3 million views. I can't look at over 10,000 subs as meaning anything anymore. So when I do drum covers, what am I doing them for? And I've realized I'm doing it for a group of guys that watch my stuff, and ladies that watch my stuff all the time. I actually have a few women drummer followers that watch and comment often, and are part of this community. Nobody's got time to watch all the drum covers that Earl puts out. But maybe once or twice a week you jump in and you do watch some covers, and that's usually when I get a comment from you guys or ladies. But I appreciate every one of you. I want to shout out to a few of you that are consistent regulars. James Lyons, Jimmy, he was my subscriber of the year in 2023. I've never given out a subscriber of the year since either, by the way. but he comments on my videos all the time. 11 Drums, who is one of the guys in the drum community. I think he's 16 now. He started when he was 11. He's got almost 10,000 subs. Help him get to 10,000 subs, guys, if he's not there already. He's really close. He makes very metal videos. My friend James, excuse me, I already said James Lyons. My friend Jeff Metz, who is a friend. He's not commenting as much on my videos about my equipment mishaps, you know, having the wrong cymbal up. You know, I said I had a Paiste big beat ride, and it's a 22-inch ride, you know, 2002. He's not picking on me as much these days because, I mean, I make mistakes in my descriptions all the time. That's part of the fun of what I do, is I can put whatever I want and you guys have to call me out. But then I got some other guys like Ben Tolles 86 who might have a question. I'm not sure if he has a question. And then I've got some other guys that are really good friends I've made over the last few years here on YouTube. Chadwick Perry, Double Deuce Drums. He's back and he's playing. If you guys haven't checked out Chad's stuff on the Simmons drums he's doing a lot of covers with Simmons drums. Very cool. Check Chad out. Jim Flies too, Jim Hoovey. Again, great drummer. He follows me all the time. He only follows a few drummers. I know that. I'm one of them. I follow him too. Of course, Kelly Cusimano and Rich Raw Dog, who are really trying to gin up the community thing. This month it's March Metal Madness. I haven't even been able to pull a metal cover together this March. That's how disjointed I've been in my drum cover world. And I think part of it is I'm trying to find a new voice. That's why I'm doing more talking videos and more mini Ask Earl Anythings and doing songs I really want to do. I have a lot of you guys that follow me ask me to do things. They ask me to do, can you do this cover? Can you do that cover? I'll eventually get to it. It may be 6 months down the road. I have to really be in the mood to play things. Like I have a very good friend who's asked me to do too. They're very outside my genre that I love playing. Because I don't mind playing metal stuff, but I'm not a metal guy, to be honest, or a heavy rock guy. But I can do it if I want to. I just have to put my effort in. And I think E for effort is the whole thing. Life is really busy lately. Really, really busy. And day gigs busy. Family's busy. And I'm 64 and I'm heading towards 65. I'm not retiring anytime soon for my day job, but I am trying to figure out like what I do and why I do things every day. That's the big question I wake up every day. What are you doing today and why are you doing what you're doing today? And how do you get the most out of it? And that's why yesterday I released a video. This is Saturday, May 22nd. And on Friday evening, around 5, 6 o'clock, whenever I released it, end of the day drum video for me was a really quick version of Live Like You Were Dying by Tim McGraw. Now, I don't do country tunes, you know that, but that song means something to me. You know, that's a song that basically says, what are you doing every day and why are you getting up to do the things you're doing every day? And start taking a check on what those things are that you're doing every day. Is it something good for the world? Or is it just something that's not so good for the world? And how do you treat people in the world? And that's what that song said. And I was feeling that way. And I said, you know, I'm going to play this song because I'm feeling this way today. So this Ask Earl Anything is me kind of telling you guys that I don't know what we're doing other than I'm going to put more Ask Earls together. I know that. And I'm going to keep making drum covers, but you're going to see less of them. You're going to see, I'm going to try to release them less. For those of you that measure, like, well, you didn't release too many less last week. You did 6, you know. But I can tell you right now, my bank of videos, new videos, is quite small right now. And I'm really stretching to find stuff I want to play and do. That's what I'm having a hard part. But you guys that are my guys, like Greg One-Off, I didn't mention Greg One-Off, but you guys are the guys that are looking at drum videos, you know? And you guys don't have channels. I mean, there's drummers that have channels, like Jim Flies 2 has a channel, you know, and I know Chadwick's got a channel, and Kelly and Rich, but In actuality, most of the guys I named here that are consistently watching my videos, you guys don't have drum channels. You just enjoy watching drummers play. So with that being said, I get it. Nobody wants to watch drummers play all the time now. There's so much other stuff coming in your feed saying, hey, aren't you really interested in this? You looked at this video and here's 20 more of them. That's what's going on Instagram. That's what's going on Facebook. I liked it better when I would not get stuff fed to me by YouTube and I would just go searching for what I wanted. But now I'm becoming more and more dependent on the algorithm. So as the algorithm becomes king, guys like me, my little drum covers, are not going to get kicked into the algorithm. If you're following some of those chick drummers from 10 years ago that were really young and now they're a little bit older, but they still put out drum covers and they got 1 million subscribers, guess what? They're still going to come to you and get, 10,000 views on a video no matter what they do, because they've got so many subs and the algorithm is going to push it out there. By the way, the reason why some of you see my videos so often is because I got so many videos out there and enough subs to get pushed out there a little bit. So I'm still out in the algorithm, but who cares? That's not the point. The point is, I'm doing the drum covers for the guys that watch every day. You guys are the ones I care about. You ladies that watch are the ones I care about. What I really, and I think this is really where I'm trying to take this. What am I trying to say to you today? What I'm trying to say to you is, I enjoy the engagement. My engagement stays the same every day. I get 20 likes on most videos. I would love to get 50 or 70 or 80 likes, which would push me into the stream. And I should do more of that please like and subscribe stuff, which I don't. But I get likes from the 20 people that watch my videos all the time. I get likes from you guys. Thank you for putting your likes in there. You're helping to push me into the algorithm, I guess. But I also like the fact you say something, and I know you're here. Hey, you're here today, and you said hi. I appreciate it. So if you have a chance, say hi on this video. If you can, like the video. And if you like my content, when I'm not putting out content on a day, and some of you are some newer guys like Ed Kaminsky. There's a bunch of others that are new guys. Spags, who's asking a question. He's a new guy watching me. I keep picking up new, older guys. I do have a kind of a stereotypical profile of the drummers that watch me. They're guys that like watching older songs, that are older like me, and like to watch old guys play these songs. You could watch the young kids who can just blow licks all over me and just take me out with licks. But you guys watch me because I'm playing something you want to see, or it's going to help you develop your chops or playing abilities to play a song. And that's why you're watching me. And that's where it starts. And then you realize there's more here. Oh, he's doing more of that. Oh, he's doing this one too. So if there's a day when I'm not putting something out, I just want you to know about some of my playlists. I have probably 30 playlists, I'd say. I have a series where I did 3 Steely Dan albums complete. Asia, Katie Lied, and Pretzel Logic. I have all the videos for all the songs of those albums. But I have other albums from Steely Dan started. I have Chicago albums where I have multiple songs that I've played from Chicago by album. I also have a playlist of just Chicago. I have a playlist of the Doobie Brothers hits. I got a playlist of Billy Joel. I've done a lot of Billy Joel stuff. If you guys are looking for something to watch one day and I'm not putting something out, watch one of my playlists. You may get stuck in one of my playlists and go, wow, he played that one. He played that one. He played that one. I didn't know he played that one. I missed that one. When did that come out? A lot of you guys ask me, can you play this song? And I send you a link to the video, and it's like, I already played it. I played a lot of songs. I got at least 1,800 videos that are active. I probably have almost 2,000 active videos. I've got over 2,000 videos just sitting in my YouTube channel. So there's a lot there. If you're one of those guys that likes a certain genre, you may find I have it. The soft rock genre, the girl genre, my favorite Steely Dan, Chicago genre, Billy Joel, Doobie Brothers. There's just so many. Seawind. So all I would say to you is check out my playlist on those days when I'm not doing anything and leave a comment on those older videos. That helps them too, helps me. And if you're looking for something, put the search bar, the name of the song, and put Earldrum next to it. And see if I did a cover on it. You'll be surprised how many of these songs I've tried. Now, they're not all great. Nothing's great. Nothing's perfect, by the way. Everything's got something going on. So, anyhow, I don't know how much of that I'm going to have to cut, but boy, oh boy, I did spew my heart today. Thank you all for watching my videos. Thank you for watching this show. I realize drum covers are just what they are. They're drum covers. All right, let's start my show. The first question comes from Spags, S-P-A-G-Z. He's a new follower and friend. He said, hey, Earl, am I supposed to ask questions here? Or is there an email? Well, here it is. You can ask questions on any of my videos. Matter of fact, if you look at the community notes for my asking comments, I have 3 things. One is be kind to one another, okay? And if you put something up I don't like, I will take it down. That's the new thing I'm doing. I had a guy a month ago or so. He just got really nasty. And I was like, I'm done with this. I just deleted it. I don't need to keep comments of people that just aren't nice. Life's too short for crap. You know what I mean? So if you're going to be crap, I'm going to throw the crap, flush it down the toilet. That's what I'm going to do. So be nice. But any video you put a question on, I will try to screen grab, and put on my iPad so I can talk about it next time. Here was the question from Spags. I have some Pearl fiberglass concert toms, half of what you have. Wondering about mics you have on yours. One between each pair. Are they mono mics? Or are they just picking up both toms? Are they stereo mics? Thanks. All right, let's talk about the mics on the concert tom kit. All of my mics are mono channel mics. I don't have a stereo mics. I have a stereo pair over my head. These microphones were my first overhead microphones, believe it or not. These are AKG C1000S's. And they are a small diaphragm condenser. They're not my favorite overhead mic for cymbals, but they actually work very well on drums. I found it out when I first started recording with ADATs. And I only had a kick drum mic, a snare drum mic, and these 2 overheads. And one day I put them on the toms, and I realized they sounded okay. I like them. They're phantom power, meaning they get powered by the board, or you can put batteries in them, believe it or not. But I don't put batteries in them. It's 48-volt phantom power from the board. And when you stick them in between, they pick up both. So this is one set. This is another set. Now, the other mic I got over here, which you can't see off camera, maybe you'll see it if I pull a picture of one of my concert tom setups, is a Octava 319. It's a large diaphragm condenser mic, and it picks up the 2 low ones pretty well. I've been using that there for a long time, even when I had cardioids. I used to have an MD421 here. I used to have an SM57 up here. The reason why I'm not putting a mic on every drum is because I don't have the channel space for that. I have three drum kits mic'd up right now, and having 8 tom mics for 8 toms is pretty excessive, by the way. And I don't know if I get all that much out of it unless I was micing from underneath, which is fun to do once in a while, and I have done it. But I guess, the truth of the matter is, if I had a different snake into this room, if I had a 12-channel snake, I would add more mics for miking the toms differently. But right now I have an 8-channel drop snake in here, and it goes to my other main snake. So until I switch my snake and I switch my routing in my studio, it's 8 in here, 8 on the Gretsch kit, and I got 4 on the little kit. And that's the way it's set up. I actually have enough for 24 channels on my board. So I actually could do 3 kits with 8 mics each. And I have enough mics. It's not that I don't have the mics. It's just I don't need to use it that way. My other mic on my floor tom today is a Sennheiser E609, which is a really good guitar amp mic. Of course, I've got an SM57 Shure mic on the snare, and inside the bass drum is an AKG D112 kick drum mic. So that's the miking setup on this kit today. Overheads are back here. These are 2 Octava MK012's Russian-made microphones, just like the other one's a Russian-made microphone. These are now expensive. When I bought them, they were pretty cheap. So, I mean, I actually got the pair. I think I got the whole pair for under $100, believe it or not. That's pretty wild. I think I could sell them now for like $400 for the pair, probably. Some guys look for these microphones. So, anyhow, thanks for the question, Spags. Next question comes from Regret Mayus. I don't know how else to say it. It's RGETMAEUS. Regematus. The question is, he said he was watching me on a Cass Elliot video, Make Your Own Kind of Music. That was interesting. He said, question, are you playing all these by ear or do you have sheet music for this song? I realize once you know the tempo and general feel, you're 90% there. But I wonder if you have a drum sheet music for songs like this. And Times of Your Life by Paul Anka. By the way, I don't know if I told you this, but I played Times of Your Life by Paul Anka. I don't know if I responded to that and sent you the video clip. Maybe I'll put that in the description on this, Times of Your Life. It's another good song, good memory song. Thinking about your life is that song, Times of Your Life, Paul Anka. And Please Come to Boston, I did that one too. He just mentioned two songs. You'll see it in the comment section underneath this. But he mentioned two songs I've done covers of. Please Come to Boston and Times of Your Life by Paul Anka. I've done both those covers. I have no sheet music for these things. I do it all by ear. I learn it by ear. I try to get it as close to the record as possible. But there's a part of me that goes, there's a little bit of me in every video. I don't get it exact perfect. Usually grooves, cymbal to hi-hat, rim click to snare drum, kick drum patterns. I really try to get the kick drum patterns close today. By the way, a lot of times what I think the kick drum pattern is and what you might think the kick drum pattern is may actually not be the kick drum pattern. I found that out listening to Hell and Ready tunes with Jim Gordon playing. Jim Gordon's got some very interesting kick drum patterns, you know. Boom, 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 ba. He does a boom. I don't know. Let's see if I can pull this together. I'm using this microphone today. I'm not really using the drum kit mic, so let's see if I can. That boom-boom. Now, I've been playing the boom-booms for years, but he really has he uses it a lot. It's one of his little... Anyhow, I was scoping the drum part on a couple of the Hell and Ready tunes, and I found that boom-boom, boom-bom, and then I realized he used that pattern in some of the Steely stuff too sometimes. There's certain patterns that are theirs, and then other guys start playing them, and then we all play these patterns because we read them in drum books and stuff. But sometimes I really try to get the kick and snare drum patterns pretty darn close to what's played. I was doing that "Live Like You Were Dying" song, and I realized it was much more straight up. The kick drum part, you know, boom, cha. There was like this skiffy beat in there, boom. Back, back, and then one of those doom bad beats, but the bass drum was boom, 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 boom. So it was a straighter bass drum with the skiffy beat on top. You really pick that up when you use Moises to kind of scope stuff. So I try to get them close, but I'm not always exact. And no, I don't use any drum charts. Every once in a while, there's a song with a drum chart I'll pull out, but I can read. It's just I don't do that. It's not what I do. Most of these songs I did by ear with some of my interpretation on it. All right, next question comes from Brent, another daily follower. Thank you, Brent, for watching all the time. Brent3760, he said, I didn't know you were an EMAD guy. What do you think of the Aquarian Superkick heads? I've never tried them, but I've heard great things. All right. Now, I said I really like Remo and Evans heads, and I've even played Aquarian heads. Matter of fact, my little Gretsch kit's got a set of vintage, medium vintage American heads, I guess, or whatever they call them. They look kind of like yellowish color. I bought them years ago. I put them on. They sound great on that kit. The kit's got really a jazzy vibe, high-pitched tom vibe, you know. Not the kick drum, though. I don't have it on the kick drum. I have a vintage kick on the front of my main bass drum that's an Aquarian. But when it came to the Superkick 2, the one everybody loves, I bought one a long time ago. I'm talking about probably 2001 or 2, I guess it was. It was when Mars Music went out of business. I was living in Coral Springs. I bought one for a really cheap price. I put it on my kick drum. I never liked it. I just never liked it. It didn't do for me what it does for everybody else. So when you ask me the Superkick 2 question, what you're really getting from me is my one-time experience with it and going, I didn't dig it on my drum. Now, I have played it on other people's drums, and it always sounds good. It's just not the same as the EMAD. The EMAD gives me that dampening I like on a bass drum. I like my bass drums to be dampened. This bass drum has got a pillow in it. The other bass drum's got an EMAD on the back of the head, and it's got a pillow on the outside touching the front head. This bass drum has got a pillow in it with a huge hole in the front head, meaning I think it's bigger than 12 inches. It's like maybe an inch from the shell all the way around. So really, all it is it's just like the skeleton of a drum head, a bass drum head with a pillow in it. So it's almost like a single-headed bass drum. That drum has got a hole in the middle. That's where I put the mic, in the middle. It's in that vintage head. And when I want to dampen the front head from resonating, I put a pillow on it on the front. And it doesn't look good on stage, but it sounds great with a microphone in a recording studio. So I've been using that trick for years and years and years. So I have a tendency to like my bass drums with not a lot in it. That has nothing in it, really. The other Gretsch bass drum. It's just the EMAD head on the back, I believe. Or, you know what it might have? It may have an Evans EQ pillow in it, but the EQ pillow is touching the front head. It's not touching the back head. So I remember doing that for a while too. The resonation of the front head seemed to be the bigger problem for me. So the back head's nice and punchy. Now I will tell you another trick I learned. I learned this from studio drummer Ed Green. I'm not going to tell you how I got that information, but he made it pretty clear to me the best way to get your bass drum to sound really good is to tighten it up a little bit on the back, not keep it loose and flappy where it's hard to work. And since then, I've been tightening my back heads up a little bit, so they're a little bit more punchy, and they sound great. Nobody ever says your bass drum sounds changed, gotten worse. I used to keep it way more sloppy, but now it's a lot more tight. So that's a Ed Green trick. You tighten up the back head versus slopping up the back head. So I'll give credit to Ed Green, who I learned it from. All right, Brent, thanks for the question. Next one comes from Mickey F3730. Mickey's another guy that watches my drum covers every day. Thank you, Mickey, for being part of that community. He was watching me play Old Days, and the question was, it wasn't even a question, it was a comment I wanted to say. He said, mega cool stuff, Earl. I can't do that left-hand hi-hat, but I can do it right-handed. So what I was doing was, I'm doing that one. And again, that's another one of those things I've been working on where I'm actually using my left hand to go to the hi-hat as opposed to instead of going into it with the right hand, you know. It's something to practice, Mickey. It's a good thing to practice. Anyhow, all I wanted to say was work on your left side, work on left-hand accents, work on doing pushes off your left side, those kind of hi-hat barky things, work on that because it'll build up something in you. And as opposed to going with the right hand. So a lot of the guys today, the younger kids, they're very ambidextrous and they're very much left-right side of their body. I think that's what open-handed playing does to you. It opens you up. So the more you can open up your thinking and your mind and your left side and not being as reliant on your right side, the better off you're going to be, or vice versa if you're a lefty. But definitely work on those things. That's what I was doing on that old days. There's one fill I do in there where I just come around and I kind of clip it with my left hand. But thank you for noticing that, Mickey. Really, I do appreciate that, and thanks for your comments as always. My last question comes from Vince Gomez, another longtime listener and follower, Vince Gomez 1212. And his question is, hey Earl, in your opinion, when is a 13-inch snare drum appropriate? Would you choose one purely for sound reasons, or does size and weight make a difference when gigging out? Thanks. 13-inch snare drums. There was a craze on 13-inch snare drums a few years ago. Steve Jordan made it very popular. His 6.5 by 13 Steve Jordan snare drum. I have one. I bought that in the 2000s. And I also before I bought that one, I bought a Omar Hakim 5x13 mahogany drum. Very cool drums. Neither one are piccolos, and neither one are truly like a 14x5 or a 14x6.5. They are a weird drum. They do have a place. I do use them sometimes on gigs where I don't want to take a bigger snare drum. So it's interesting you brought that aspect of it up. The Steve Jordan is really a cool drum. You can tune it down and get that kind of fat snare drum thing. You can tune it up and get a more higher pitch snare drum. It can be a little boxy, so you got to be careful with the heads you put on it and that kind of stuff. But for the most part, the Steve Jordan drum is very cool. The 5x13 Omar drum for me isn't quite a piccolo, but you can get it pretty high. So sometimes I use it more in that high capacity. But I've used it on gigs. I just like 14s. I like metal drums too. That's the other thing. I really do like my metal snare drums. I have a couple great wood snare drums. But when it comes to snare drum choice for me, I really like my Black Beauty, my 5x14. I like my 6.5x14 Black Beauty. I like my cast aluminum DMR. I even like my Acrolite, 5x14 Acrolite. I love those drums. I have a 5x14 brass Gretsch drum that's really good. When it comes to my wood drums, it's the Noble Cooley 5x14. Without a doubt, it's the best 5x14 snare drum out there. Crack and everything. It's a utility drum. You can play fat or high pitched. It's a great drum. Versatile. I think it's more versatile than a 13, to be honest. It's got that ability. And then my other drum, my 7x14 DMR solid walnut drum. Great drum. And then if I need a ply drum, I got a Gretsch drum that looks like my Gretsch kit, 6.5x14. So I've got so many great drums. It's kind of hard for me to go, well, let's pull out the 6.5x13. But if it's the right thing, I will pull it out. Like if I ever do a John Mayer tune, which I should do sometime, I'll have to pull it out just to be Steve Jordan for the day. You know, try to be Steve Jordan. That's the only reason. I don't know what Steve likes about it. That's an interesting question. Like, what does Steve like about his snare drum? He had it made for him. I think he had a 13 Brady drum years ago. The odd side, I don't like 12s. I'll tell you that much. I've never had a 12. I had a 10 once, a popcorn, which was nice to have. It's cute, but it really didn't do anything for me. So I'm really more of a traditional. I'm looking for a 15-inch drum, to be honest. If I could find the right 7x15 or even a 5x15 would be a cool drum to have. JR had a couple 15-inch signature snare drums that I thought were cool. Pearl made one of them. Yamaha made the other. So I think 15s are kind of a cool drum. But I have two 13s. I use them occasionally. but I still have a tendency to go to my 5x14 Black Beauty, 5x14 Noble Cooley, or 5x14 Acrolite. Those are probably my most popular size is the 5x14. And then when I need the deep thing, it's the Black Beauty, it's the cast aluminum, or it's the 7x14 walnut. So, but I think I have taken the 13 on a gig just because I didn't want to carry the weight. I used to use it at a church just because I didn't want to carry the weight. It was a lighter drum. So there's a lot of validity to that concept. There's a lot of validity to that concept if that's the reason you want to do it. So it's a good point. Anyhow, thanks for the questions. Everybody, thanks for the questions. I think this is one of those Ask Earl Any things I feel like I'm drifting all over the place. And then I'll go into post and I'll edit it and I'll go, I'm drifting all over the place. And then I'll put it out and everybody will go, oh man, that was a great show. I don't know why. So I feel like I'm all over the place today. But I hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks for watching. Your questions make the show. Without your questions, I don't have a show. Please like and subscribe. And guys, have a great month. End of the month. I'll see you again in April. Bye.